So there's been some updates with these two, and it gets much, much worse because it becomes blatantly obvious that they're trying to pull some more Emmett Till setup type shit. As I always do, I'm going to run it back to the first video, and I'm going to stick around and point some things out.
So this guy just said he wanted to murder our baby as we were walking past, and now they're gonna put him under arrest. He said, "I'm gonna murder your wife and baby."
Yeah, he literally said that. This guy right there, when we're walking past,
So we're gonna press charges.
he said he wanted to kill our white baby. How sick can people be? This is disgusting. I'm completely outraged. You can't even walk down the streets of Washington, D.C. without people acting like this. Thank God we reported it to the police and they're dealing with the guy. I cannot believe this right now. Don't bring your kids down here. It's not safe.
Don't bring your kids to DC.
Not safe at all.
Last night, while heading home from Joe's Seafood on 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, 1 block from the White House, a black man approached my wife and my baby and I and said, "I'm going to kill your white girl. I'm going to kill your effing white baby." And he repeated it many times, and then he continued to call my wife a white B-word multiple times. And I had half a mind to stomp his head in, but instead I went to the Secret Service, which was a block away from us, and I told them what he had said. The man was subsequently arrested, and he has now been brought on charges by the U.S. Attorney General's office, felony charges for felony threats and hate and bias crime.
And also, we found out later that he had a knife in his pocket, so that was extremely terrifying.
So this is unbelievable. This shouldn't be happening in the capital of the United States of America. Families like ours should feel safe. We have 5 other children at home that were with grandma, luckily, that night. We're not even from here, we're from Iowa. And to have to suffer that after losing our friend Charlie Kirk, who I worked for, and then this, it's unbelievable. And America, you need to do better. Racism, reverse racism, it's all wrong, it's all evil. Turn to Jesus, believe the gospel, repent of your sins, be renewed in your mind, in your thinking. Love one another, love your neighbor as yourself, as Jesus commands. We need to seek God. This is not acceptable.
Hi guys, I'm Tiana and this is Tiana's React. So there is this story blowing up from Washington DC. A white couple, Joel and Sarah Elizabeth, claiming a black man threatened their family and even said he was going to unalive their child. But here is the twist. A lot of people are now calling this story false. Yes, false. They are saying this innocent black man never did such a thing, that is all cooked up and his name is just being dragged for nothing. And when you think about it, guys, how many times have we seen this pattern where someone is accused with no evidence, just words? Where?
So my understanding is that you would like us to charge this as a hate crime from the beginning, and so because you were starting to talk about facts of the case, as I explained earlier, I cannot talk about facts of the case without an officer witness on the line. So let me ask you real quickly. So the facts that I understood were that he threatened to kill you, Sarah, and your quote-unquote white baby. Is that correct?
Yes. He said he's going to kill. He said he was speaking to me. He said, "I'm going to kill your girl and your effing white baby."
Okay.
And then he repeatedly called my wife a white B-word. And it was for 100% a hate crime. If I would have said that to a black man, his wife and baby...
Sir, I'm going to stop you right here. I appreciate where you are going with this. I in no way, shape, or form disagree with you that this sounds like a hate crime. But I want to explain to you how our process works.
Okay.
So...
And then they cut the video off because things are not going in the direction that they hoped for. They try to spew their rhetoric, and this woman was not having it. So shout out to her for doing her job. Let's move on. Okay, this is the most recent one, and I want you all to pay very close attention to everything they say down to the caption in this video, because they are so outrageously frustrated that they don't even realize they're telling on themselves.
Bias. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So these will be felony threats with a hate bias enhancement. And so what that does is that changes the possibility, the way we, the possibility of sentencing, the kind of plea that's given, plea offer. No, I don't have any knowledge of a violent history. Not at this time, but let me actually, 1 second. I would have to do some digging into his history in order to be able to
you might have to do a little research because you got about an hour and a half, and if this guy is a violent offender, hold on,
I don't have.
you don't have to give us any information, but if this guy is a violent offender and there is some legal precedent to hold him, then he needs to be held because he could be a danger to the public, and he could go and stab some baby. He could kill some baby. You know? That's not safe to have people like that are that unhinged on the streets in our capital city of the United States of America.
A block from the
A block
president.
from the White House. We were on 1500 Pennsylvania. That's insane.
I do not. I would love to have a conversation with you about it, but I honestly cannot. And like I said, if I have a legal basis to ask for him to be held, I will ask for him to be held. At this time, I don't know of a legal basis for me to ask for him to be held.
Well,
Which means the court doesn't have a legal basis to hold him.
well, Barb, do some digging. That's all I'm going to say. Because if he gets out and he does something, I swear this is going to be very bad for everybody. Very bad for everybody. It's not going to be good for the district. It's not going to be good for the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's not going to be good. It's going to be national public television. Everybody's going to know about it. I literally know President Trump personally. It's not a good situation. I shouldn't have to feel like my wife is going to be killed and my baby is going to be killed, and then some violent offender gets released back on the streets of Washington, D.C.
And we don't even know his criminal background.
We don't know. We don't know who we're dealing with here, so we don't feel safe at this point.
What if it's the same thing like the guy in North Carolina where they let him out 14 times and then he goes and kills somebody? That guy should not have been on the streets, and I don't think this person should be on the streets either.
Listen, you seem like a really nice lady, Barb, and I know there's more that you guys can do. So I'm hoping that you guys will figure out something.
I mean,
because I
even
don't
a
want him
mental
released.
asylum, like, is there a mental hospital he can go to or something?
Or
That's
a
not...
homeless shelter or something. Something to keep him away from people.
I hear you.
Any questions?
For the past week, I have been talking about the MAGA couple who got an innocent black man arrested in Washington, D.C. And I want to be very clear that I am no hero in this story. I am a human that understands the power and community, and that understands that we cannot wait for anybody to give us justice. We have to take it, because I know my history, and I know what happened to Emmett Till, and I know what happened to the Scottsboro boy, and I know what happened to Khalif Browder. And I refuse to sit idly by while folks discard another black person in this country. A couple of days ago, I did receive an email from Joel Tenney himself. Do I look scared? Okay. But what I do recognize is that in the process of wanting to get my community member free, and when I say free, I mean free from this injustice system and his charges dropped, I also have to recognize and rectify that in the information that has been shared with me and information that I have uncovered, that could have triggered many people. And I do not take that lightly. And I apologize openly to anyone who heard about any former charges that could have triggered you or brought up any amount of trauma. I want to make it clear that SA is not a gotcha moment, and me bringing up those charges was not at all to trigger anyone, but for the purpose of showing who the true purveyor of violence is in this situation. So with that, I thank you all for your continued support with this situation and the information. but we gonna get this brother free. People have asked me if I have any updates regarding the MAGA couple that lied on the black man in DC and got him arrested. The last update that I gave you all was that Joel Tenney had privated most of his accounts, and I believe TikTok, he might have deactivated his account. His wife, Sarah Elizabeth Tenney, is still on social media, but has limited her comment. And I believe partially that's as a result of them being called out as being full of shit. And also because I searched public record and found someone by the name of Joel Christian Tenney, similar to the name of the husband, also born August 7th, 1996, also from Iowa, who not only had multiple counts of criminal charges, but was actually convicted of one and given 2 years of probation. Now, with all that information, I publicly asked Joel Tenney to remove his videos about this innocent black man and to also drop the charges. And as of today, Sunday, September 21st, 2025, the charges have not been dropped. And so therefore, I will continue to move forward with my community that is in DC with ensuring that that innocent black man has support. I will not reveal that black man's name, and I hope that everyone else chooses to do the same, because the on the ground work is specifically not for social media. It is literally to help this black man, to help our community, and to protect each other. And the goal with putting all these videos on social media was to show any of those right-wing conservative racists that we do indeed have community and we are willing to protect ourselves, and that we also have.
You guys, this is very interesting. So this comment says, this is the same people that posted a video of teasing their daughter about being born when Biden was president and their sons being born under Trump to the point that they made their daughter cry. I'm going to be proactive in potentially helping to save the life of this black man, because I'm pretty sure that sooner or later, these people are going to show you who he is, because they already put a huge target on his back. So I'm going to give you guys another example of how much these people lie and how disingenuous they are. In case you want to say hi, this is the husband's platform. And this is the wife's platform. I'm going to show you this video, and this is actually from the husband's IG. And the caption says, transgender activists showed up to our church this morning, the first Sunday after Charlie Kirk's passing. What happens next is crazy.
So guys, this is crazy, but I'm outside of church here. And there are trans activists inside the church because they're trying to intimidate the pastor not to speak about what happened to Charlie Kirk or his life or ministry or turning point, whatever. So they're trying to use fear and intimidation tactics, but the pastor's preaching like the best sermon he's ever preached, and it's really powerful. He hasn't touched on Charlie Kirk at all, but the gospel is being preached, and he's also sharing what our church has been doing as far as campus ministry is concerned. And it's really, really powerful, very, very positive, very uplifting. But it's all about the gospel and about kingdom. And it's amazing. And he talked about how we're supposed to be countercultural and we're not supposed to blend in, that the gospel is countercultural, that Jesus was countercultural. And he's just doing like the best job I've ever heard of him do. Like, this is the best sermon so far. But I had to step out for a second to tell you this.
You heard everything he said, right? Okay. The next day, he made a comment under that video and he pinned it. And I'm going to read to you what the comment says. Today, on the first Sunday after Charlie Kirk's passing, something remarkable happened at church. About 10 transgender individuals came to the service. At first, some feared they might have come to disrupt or even cause harm. But by the end of the service, most of them were in tears and gave their lives to Jesus without Charlie Kirk even being mentioned. However, the pastor mentioned a similar story with nearly the same outcome, except the villain became a believer and brought people to Christ on death row. Our church is the largest in the area, but it usually doesn't reach full capacity, not even half. I wonder why. But today, however, it was completely full, overflowing with people, hearts open to God. Then the wife posted this. At church today, there was trans and woke people that came. Our church was the fullest I've ever seen. Many souls came to Christ today at our church. Charlie is smiling from heaven. What about what you said in this video, sir? It's not adding up. It's like they're trying to fix the first lie with the second lie, while the first lie is still posted. Now, this part has to do with them being disingenuous when it comes to black people. You see, here are the videos where he talks about a black man that supposedly threatened his wife and baby. But then you see this one in the middle of it. So he was at the Burger King drive-thru and he filmed himself giving the black male employee a $100 bill. And the caption reads, "I've always treated people of color with love, compassion, and kindness, as Jesus said we should treat others as we would like to be treated. Not all black people are mean or rude or full of hate, like the guy who wanted to murder my wife and baby." Do you want to know when this video was recorded? March of 2022. Nothing says I'm a racist like being blatantly racist and then recording yourself giving a random black person a large sum of money. He really thought that video was going to make him look good when in fact it made him look 100 times worse. All of us in the BIPOC community need to be careful. We need to keep our heads on a swivel so it doesn't end up on a chopping block. Take care of yourselves.
So guys, what do you think about this? Because honestly, it's heartbreaking to see a black man's image dragged when people are already saying it's false. This is why we always have to ask questions before jumping to conclusions. No police report, no solid evidence, just viral noise. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this was another case of rushing to judgment? Well, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe so we can keep bringing down this kind of stories together. Till next time.